What up, YouTube? We are reviewing tonight's Monday Night Raw. We saw a lot of ups, some downs, but mostly ups. So let's just get right into it. We opened up with a New Day segment. New Day came out to the ring, and they are channeling their inner Dom Mysterio, and they're getting booed out of the building. So this is like a weird place for New Day to be because everyone's loved them literally for the majority of the 10 years they've been around. A good place for them. They're getting the reaction they want. Initially, I wasn't so keen on them turning, but I will say this. They were getting a little stale, especially just the two of them. They kind of became an afterthought in the tag division because you knew they were no longer going to be winning tag team championships. It was never believable for them to even be in tag team title matches. So I am A-okay with New Day turning heel now. I've gotten over it. It is what it is, and this is now a new chapter for them. They're now trying to, like I said, build a version of just the two of them. There's no Big E in the picture. Obviously, they kind of kicked Big E out. So again, I think it's a very good spot for them, and so the reason I say it's weird though is because it's not organic heat. It's almost like a running joke. Because again, everyone loves Kofi, everyone loves Woods, everyone loves E, but we don't hate them. We know they're brothers with E, for real. So we're just going along with the story, and I love that because if you know wrestling fans, they don't always do that. They sometimes hijack things. So I'm definitely happy that the New Day is getting the reaction that they're looking for, and it makes it fun. Similar to Dom Mysterio. Dom Mysterio was getting genuine heat in the beginning, but it was cheap heat. People didn't like him because he was a Nepo baby. Now I think there's an appreciation for Dom, but they're still going along with the booing for him. So it's kind of similar to what New Day's dealing with now. But I love it. I have no complaints about it. I absolutely love it. So kudos to them. So we opened up with the New Day coming out to the ring, and they were getting booed to no end, right? So Jey Uso came out. Jey Uso had a 47-minute intro coming through the crowd, yeeting. At one point, they zoomed in on a grown man just going, yeet. It was all good. So, anyway, Jey comes into the ring. New Day has not really said a word yet. The crowd won't let them because of all the boos. Jey dismisses them and pretty much just tells them, we've been down. So that's a point I want to touch on. Kofi was saying within mic shot, you had the mic over here, and was going, let them know we go way back. Yes, we know that, Kofi. We were here for it. We saw the whole New Day versus the Usos. We seen the Hell in a Cell match. It was memorable times. What's up, Queen? YouTube, we are live over on TikTok. So if you see this and you see me talking to the chat, that is why. Anyway, you'll be seeing this at a much later time though, because I'll be uploading it to YouTube. So yeah, at this point, once he started the New Day sucks chant, we see New Day leave. I emphasize this on the stream. We have yet to really see New Day do anything heel. They're really just playing victim. They haven't attacked anyone. They've said some things to people, but they have yet to actually do. They haven't gone full heel. Yes, Robert Downey Jr. said in Tropic Thunder, you never go full heel. He didn't say that. We're not going to say what he said. But you get where I'm going with this. So, Jey Uso, he pretty much dismisses them. They leave the ring. He calls out Drew McIntyre. Now, when he called out Drew McIntyre, what happened? The new bloodline pop up on the screen, and it's Solo Sikoa. And he's pretty much just telling Jey, you're gonna get got. You should have joined us. You didn't. Whatever. And then that did with Drew McIntyre sneaking out from behind, looking like Brian Pillman in that leather vest. I don't know why I'm thinking of Brian Pillman, but I am. Rest in peace, Flying Brian. So anyway, Drew comes out. He attacks Jey from behind. He hits him with a bunch of moves. He's beating him down. He's getting ready to hit him with a Claymore. And then Jey hits him with a super kick. It got a nice little pop. That was cool. It ended up, though, Drew got the last laugh, beat down Jey, hit him with a Claymore. This was great. So If there's one thing WWE has been good at doing recently, and look, I'm just as wrestling fatigued as anybody at this point because of 2024. But if there's one thing I could give credit to for WWE, it's how they're starting to intertwine stories. I think it's good. The way WWE was existing prior to Triple H was kind of like everything was in its own separate universe. You didn't really see storylines cross over into each other under Vince McMahon. In the early days, you would see Undertaker feuding with Kane, and you would have Rock feuding with, I don't know, let's say Triple H. And then the four of them would somehow end up in a tag team match together, things of that nature. The older Vince got, the less you saw of that. So, I go back to what worked. Hulk Hogan recently said this, and Hulk Hogan says a lot, right? And he's not always right. But there's one thing that Hogan said that is absolutely true, and that's some of the old stuff still works. You can still go out and do these things, you know? But that, let's lay on top. The old stuff does work. Now that we're seeing Solo and Drew kind of up and kind of like a little bit of a truce here, twined with Jay a little bit and, overlap, right? I'm good with that. I absolutely I love when wrestling intertwines, like I said. To me, that's great storytelling, and I know storytelling at this point is so cliche because of Cody Rhodes and finish the story, and AEW doesn't have story. You have the people saying that. Listen, can we good wrestling, good storytelling, like just across the board appreciate everything that's going on in wrestling? Like I said, I'm very wrestling fatigued in 2024. I started doing content for wrestling in 2024. It's been a lot, but it's to just sit back and like things. And look, if you don't like WWE, fine. If you don't like AEW, fine. But I hate when I see people on social media running down the other company. Like, I will chime in to play devil's advocate, as we know. But listen, let's appreciate it, right? I think WWE headed towards hopefully edgier product, and I don't think we need to see blood in every match. I don't think we need to see people dropping F-bombs. That should be reserved for special times. But let's just, like I said, let's just appreciate, end of story. Let's just end that there. End of story. Let's just end that there. Because kind of got off on a tangent here, and that's not what this video is going to be about. And with that being said, Drew McIntyre is, he's honestly shaping up to be a massive player in 2025, especially as a heel. I think Drew's going to have some company. I really do, but more on that later. Segment number 2 was Otis versus Chad Gable, 2025, especially as a heel. And I think Drew's going to have some company. I really do, but more on that later. So, segment number 2 was Otis versus Chad Gable. I get it. We kind of have to have these matches. The undercard needs to also exist while we have all these big-time players on the main card and, things of that nature. But listen, Otis versus Chad Gable, on that later. So, segment number 2 was Otis versus Chad Gable. I get it. We kind of have to have these matches. The undercard needs to also exist while we have all these big-time players on the main card and, that nature. But Otis versus Chad Gable, this whole Alpha Academy versus American Made, it's got to come to an end. It's absolutely, please, I'm begging. If I see a Chad Gable versus Otis match on WrestleMania, something has gone wrong. Something has drastically gone wrong. It needs to end, okay? Stop. There's other people that you can start showcasing here. Please, for the love of God, do that. I don't care about this. Please. Oh my God, I have hiccups. Please, stop it. So we had the match at Otis versus Gable. Gable obviously worked Otis's legs. This because Otis is a lot bigger than him, and it just makes sense. You got to chop him down. No matter how good of a technical wrestler you are, Chad Gable, Otis is a big man. Granted, Chad Gable is able to deadlift him. Some Ivy Nile interference, which ultimately set off a chain of events. We saw Maxine jump on top of Ivy. They beat up Tozawa. Obviously, Alpha Academy's outnumbered by 1, but whatever, they're still outnumbered, and it obviously played into the favor of Chad Gable. I'm okay with his finish. Unfortunately, though, It definitely is leaning into a rematch, and it's looking like they're keeping this rivalry alive, and I don't want to see it. So, please, WWE, just end this feud. We had actually hyped up Rhea Ripley with a video package, which was, cool, but again, another feud that has to end in 2025 is definitely Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. I'm just over it. In this segment, we saw attack R-Truth, which was very confusing because R-Truth was coming out. Pete Dunne attacked him from behind and was yelling, "I'm nobody's butch." Well, now you just made that a thing. And it's going to be apparently WWE's moniker for Pete Dunne. And I guarantee you, tonight or tomorrow, at some point in the next week, we're going to see Pete Dunne have a new shirt saying, "I'm nobody's butch." If he doesn't already, I have not checked the WWE shop. It's been a very busy holiday season for me. But that is going to be a horrible shirt, and it's probably not going to sell WWE. So please don't do it. Just let Pete Dunne be Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne is a phenomenal wrestler in similar fashion to Chad Gable. He's a smaller wrestler, but he's very believable. He's literally a pit bull. Okay? Just let Pete Dunne be great. Let him be great. Let him go feud for the Intercontinental title. Pete Dunne versus Braun Breaker 2025. Make it happen. It would be a banger of a match. Let's get it going. Please, WWE. Also in that segment, we saw Dakota Kai and Io Sky backstage. They were talking a lot about, facing off in the finals versus each other for the women's IC title. Right then and there, a lot of people were thinking, oh, maybe we do see two Damage Control people play, each other for this belt. I don't think so. The only way that would happen is if they had some sort of plan to split these two up, being that Kairi Sane is out. I really can't see them doing that right now. But in the event they did, they may have set the stage for it when Dakota Kai won and she was sitting in the skybox. And then we saw Io Sky lose in a very tightly contested match to Lyra. I could see them, if they were going to split them up, the reasonable way to do it at this point would be probably having Io being jealous of Dakota in the match and then having Lyra beat Dakota by some sort of distraction or something like that. But again, I really don't think they view Dakota like that. I don't think they view Dakota as someone who needs to be protected. I really don't think they view a lot of women that way. I've said it time and time again. I like WWE does not, women's wrestling the needle for them, which is a shame because we've seen some phenomenal matches over, say, the past 10 years of women's wrestling. I give it a B. Them kind of telegraphed that one of the two was losing with this segment. And once Dakota won, you knew Io was not going to win, or more than likely not going to win. What else did we have? Damian Priest and the War Raiders versus the Judgment Day. So, Priest and the War Raiders, they definitely emerged victorious after Priest countered the 619, hit Dom Mysterio with the South of Heaven. We did see some Carlito interference. We're not shocked. I will say this, I thought once Carlito got involved, we were definitely going to see the Judgment Day take the win. That didn't happen. At some point, look, something's going to have to give. Either the Judgment Day is going to get a win and everything is going to be ha-ha, hee-hee, or we're going to see the Judgment Day implode. And in the event we see the Judgment Day implode, and I'll do you one better, when we do see the Judgment Day implode, I'm still have my money on Liv leaving with Finn Balor. I've been saying this for almost a year now. Liv and Finn are definitely in cahoots together from the beginning. They still never paid off Finn stealing the hotel key. I think we're going to get Finn versus Dom Mysterio. It might take place after WrestleMania. That might be what, heads into SummerSlam for them. I would love to see it. I'm definitely going to SummerSlam. It's right here at MetLife Stadium. So, honestly, normally Dom Mysterio is the bathroom match for me. But over the past over the past 6 months, Dom Mysterio earned my respect, and I enjoy watching him in the ring. He's gotten significantly better. He plays to his character immaculately. He has become a very solid, reliable talent, and I love it. Okay, so let's see Finn versus Dom Mysterio in 2025 with Liv in Finn's corner. After we come back from the commercial break, after Adam Pearce grants Jey Uso the match with Drew McIntyre on the debut episode of Raw on Netflix, which, by the way, it killed me seeing Jey walking around seething. He was pissed. But, Adam Pearce let him know that he kicked everybody out of the building, and it was going to happen conveniently on Netflix, which, again, I'm cool with. I don't have a problem with. I definitely want to see Drew move on to the world title picture, though. I don't want to see him deal with the bloodline anymore, but more on what I think Drew is headed towards in a little bit. So anyway, we come back. We have Sheamus interrupting Ludwig Kaiser, and I gotta be honest, I love that Ludwig came out and said he was out there for his goddamn self, and he called out Braun Breaker. I personally love Ludwig. I think Ludwig has so much more potential. Basically, where Gunther's ceiling is where Ludwig's floor starts. I think Ludwig is definitely light years ahead of Gunther in terms of character development. He's got charisma. He's got a natural charisma. He's got a look about him. Look, I'm not saying, Gunther has a look too. Gunther has that strong, brute, again, like, he doesn't need to cheat, all this stuff. He's just a little boring. He's just boring to me. And, a lot of people criticize me for thinking that. But I'm over Gunther. I am. He started getting a little better. He was throwing out, like, microaggressions towards Damian Priest and all this stuff. And it was good. And then it kind of just went nowhere. It hit a dead end. And I don't know why they did that. He was starting to develop a personality, and they stripped him of it. It's so weird. Anyway, so yeah, we had, where am I? Okay, so anyway, we had, at this point, when he challenges Braun Breaker to come out, Braun obviously didn't answer. Braun was nowhere to be seen tonight. He might be in Los Angeles, already sleeping in the Intuit Arena, waiting for Netflix to, let the dogs in, so to speak. Anyway, Sheamus comes out. He attacks Ludwig. It's obviously going to continue their rivalry. I don't know. Again, I don't want to see Sheamus and Ludwig that much longer. But I could see another triple threat match. I really hope not. I think they're actually going to end up doing Sheamus versus Ludwig, and the winner goes on to face Braun Breaker, which I'm okay with. I know I spent a lot of 2024 complaining that there was not a lot of multi-competitor matches for championships. No triple threats, no fatal four-ways. I don't want to see another triple threat. I really don't. I want to see Ludwig beat Sheamus in a number one contender match, and Ludwig go on and beat Braun Breaker for the belt. And I love Braun Breaker, but I gotta be honest, I think Braun is headed for bigger things in 2025. You cannot convince me that Braun Breaker is not a main eventer. And I gotta be honest, with Goldberg looking for one last match, I do think it happens against Gunther. But with that being said, could you imagine if Goldberg wins the Royal Rumble? I don't think it's going to happen. I know I said it, but stop. I don't think it's going to happen. Could, but it's not going to. I do think we're going to see some groundwork laid for a Goldberg return like we already have. I am of the belief that Goldberg is going to have multiple matches on his final run, though. So I could see, I gotta be honest, I don't know how anyone feels about this. I would absolutely love to see on a random Monday Night Raw, Goldberg versus John Cena. Okay? It could just be me. Look, I'm not one of those people. I know Goldberg is not great in the ring. I know he ended Bret Hart's career and blah, 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 blah. But Goldberg is a legend. And we've never gotten Goldberg versus John Cena. And to have that on a random Monday Night Raw just because they can, WWE has you money now, right? So I would absolutely love to see that match. I know they tend to say, like, you don't give that stuff away for free, but it would be a phenomenal moment. Sorry, YouTube. Repent, appreciate the follow. Yeah, so I would love to see that during Goldberg's final run. All right, Ludwig is a fresh choice, absolutely. No more Sheamus, I agree. What happened with... Avocado, sorry, dude. Over here recording a YouTube video, so it looks like I'm ignoring the chat. All right, let's touch on Lyra Valkyria and Io Sky next. So in the main event match segment, we had Lyra Valkyria versus Io Sky. I gotta be honest, the fact that Dakota Kai won earlier kind of told me everything I needed to know about this match. They had Dakota Kai in the press box. You had a little boy constantly staring at her. He was super confused why a WWE superstar was behind him. Anyway, back to the ring. It was a good match. I'm not going to say it wasn't. But again, it was just so predictable in the sense that I don't think anyone really believed in their heart that we were going to get both Damage Control members, to go against each other in the finals for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Still, it was a very good match. It was very competitive. They kind of saved Io with how it was a very tightly contested match. Like, either Dakota Kai is just flat out gonna lose to Lyra and they're gonna make Lyra look like $1 million, or they're gonna have Io Sky somehow cost Dakota Kai the inaugural championship, and it's going to set up some drama between them while Kairi Sane is out. Because again, how long can we keep Damage Control together? I'm over that too. So in 2025, please do something with them. You know what? If you want to job Dakota Kai out, I'm not gonna like it, but do something. They're just stuck in faction purgatory. We need to get, all three of them can be single stars. So why are we just continuing to keep them together? Please stop. Finally, what everybody was waiting for, we ended the night with CM Punk facing off against Seth Rollins. So obviously, Seth Rollins opens up this segment, and he looked to be all business, which is exactly the approach he's going for. They both delivered fiery promos. CM Punk right off rip after Seth Rollins said, CM Punk took his ball and went home, and it was very Hangman Page almost, like I'm defending this place from you, whatever. And it was just very reminiscent of that to me. Only it was more tasteful in this regard. I do think there was some heat between the two of these guys. I think that, they've pretty much all buried the hatchet at this point. I think Seth Rollins very much is a team player, and I think he understands that Punk is here to be a team player as well. I think CM Punk has passed his probation period for his second run in WWE with flying colors. The guy clearly loves being back. I said this recently. I think a lot of people owe CM Punk an apology, and he touched on it here. He loved working in WWE. He hated who he was working for. And look, everyone in regular 9-to-5s, everyone knows what that's like. Hating your boss, hating the bullshit going on in the workplace, the drama. But a lot of us do what we do enjoy doing. It's just the environment that you're doing it in, and that is the real issue. So, again, I think a lot of people owe CM Punk an apology, and I think Seth Rollins was one of them. And I think he realized that. And I think Seth Rollins is a big enough man behind the scenes to admit that. I could be totally wrong. Maybe they do hate each other, but I don't think so. I think CM Punk and I think Seth Rollins both have a passion for this business, and I think they connect on that field. Hello, my name is Kevin. I see you joining. Appreciate you popping in. We're finishing up our YouTube video here. What else can you say? Gotta turn the hat back around. People are gonna be so confused. They're gonna see my hat moving back and forth. Let me check my notes real quick. Okay, so yeah. So anyway, so the best part about this segment was they blurred the lines between fiction and reality, and it's really, new school WWE tries to do that a lot, especially knowing that, kayfabe is kayfabe. It's not necessarily real all the time. So when you have these rivalries, I think that's what made Punk and Drew the best rivalry of 2024. These guys didn't even have matches until about 6 months months into their rivalry. Like, I want you to think about that. They literally just stood on television every week or every other week when Punk was around and threw verbal darts at each other. And that's what it was. And then, honestly, the matches were great, but the matches were secondary to the hatred you heard them spewing at each other over the microphone. And I think they're capturing that same energy with Punk and Seth. It's, these promos were great. And Punk did reference AEW. I was daring him to, actually say AEW, but he didn't do it. Which is crazy because we are in the reality era, right? But they definitely incorporated real life references to AEW. Punk's almost 8-year absence. We had Vince McMahon referenced in there, like I said. And then, again, Punk, as soon as he came in the ring at like 9:52. He came out ripping and roaring. He was throwing counter punches, and he tagged Seth a couple times, had Seth on the ropes. He basically said that Rollins' promo was the most industry cliche planted bootlicker statement of all time. And at that point, Rollins was just, guns blazing and standing on his hill and dying on it, basically saying, look, you took your ball and went home. We don't want you here. And by we, I think that's all in Seth's head. Ironically, after Punk used the reference, which immediately it made me think of how everyone said, most notably JR, Stone Cold took his ball and went home over the Brock Lesnar thing, CM Punk referenced Becky Lynch and said, I haven't seen the man around here recently. Did she take her ball and go home? So I thought that was, again, I thought them interweaving the realism of everything that was going on definitely made this segment excellent. Something else that, again, this is where the lines blur a little bit. CM Punk let Rollins know, and this was very true, and it's because it's because Rollins was so outspoken against CM Punk. Punk reminded him that, yeah, for 7 years he was gone, and for 7 years no one forgot about him. For 7 years they chanted CM Punk's name, and you know when they did it most? During Seth Rollins' television time. And I think there is realism to that. I think even if they are friends backstage, I think that might actually sting a little bit, because again, you're a performer at the end of the day. Look, I've played football my whole life, and I've had friends on teams we were playing. And honestly, if there's one thing anybody would say about me, between those lines, but that 53 by 110, if we're enemies, we're enemies. If we are wearing different jerseys, that is it. I don't want to know you. I'm not laughing with you during the game. I'm not talking to you. I'm hitting you to separate you from the ball. I'm not, we could talk and be rah-rah after the case, as long as I win, you know what I'm saying? But it's, that definitely stings a little bit to be reminded of that. But yeah, again, Punk's reference to hating Vince McMahon, and, he called Seth the little brother. This segment, honestly, I thought it was going to underwhelm, and I think that's why it hit for me. Because I was like, it's going to be, they have 8 minutes or whatever. No, they used that 8 minutes, and they used that 8 minutes wisely. And to me, this segment was an A+. And it's almost getting, we have a lot of these segments. Even look at Punk and Cody Rhodes last year before the Royal Rumble. Look at Roman Reigns telling Cody Rhodes, you want to know what your dad said to me about you? Nothing. He never mentioned you at all. We're getting a lot of these moments, and it's almost getting to a point where it's cliche. But they're just so freaking good. I've loved all of these realistic segments that we've had. And this is another one. Add it to the bunch of segments. And they just keep hitting. They keep hitting. So yeah. And it goes to show because the audience was so invested in it as well. You could cut the tension with a knife in that ring. And whether it's real or not, you gotta respect it. It was an A+ segment for me. I did not really care about Rollins versus Punk until this segment, and now I am eating it up. I am ready for it, and again, Ayo. I can't wait to see Punk and Rollins on Netflix. And again, this segment, them ending Raw with a verbal segment and there being no physicality, really gets that build towards the climax of them fighting it out next week. And I really do wonder what's going to happen in that ring, where they go with it. I don't think they're going to end this after one match. But if they do, it's a hell of a build-up. I would honestly like to see them go Rollins, Punk, have a winner, and then let it go away for a little bit because Royal Rumble's coming. So let one of them get in the title match. Let one of them be in the Rumble, or let them both be in the Rumble. Let them eliminate each other, whatever it is. But I really don't want to see Seth versus Punk at WrestleMania. I really don't. I don't know how you guys feel about it. But... So, YouTube, that is our time. Let me know what you guys think of the final WWE Raw on cable television. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you're not subscribed, definitely sub on the YouTube. If I had to give this Raw an overall grade, I would definitely say a B+ is fair, right? Like, by no stretch do I think it was perfect, but I will definitely say it was a very good Raw. It was definitely better than the taped Raws for the holiday. They were missing a lot of star power and things like that. And it was almost like they kind of just phoned it home, which, you kind of expect before the holidays. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.